Today on Missing Number, paranormal activity in a creepy abandoned house in BeamNG, Madden NFL's scary accurate Super Bowl prediction that started a conspiracy theory, and Dream Daddy's insane cult ending that left fans shocked and horrified. Missing Number starts now. A viewer named Emari contacted me on Discord and sent me gameplay footage of a creepy discovery in BeamNG. The game is a physics vehicle simulator that lets you drive various cars around in multiple maps. In the East Coast USA map near a swamp, something can be found in the woods off the beaten path. A two-story White House can be seen. It's unknown why it's here out of all places, but it looks abandoned as the front door is ajar and the inside is pitch black. You can't go inside the house, but soon you realize that the house may not be as empty as you thought. Lights can be seen turning on and off in a room on the second floor. Is someone there? If you go into free cam mode and look inside the room, you'll find nothing. It's completely empty. The lights even turn on and off during the day. Players believe this is a haunted house, and it was ostensibly a different building in earlier versions of the game. In this clip uploaded on December 3rd, 2015, the house was apparently a single-story brown cabin. Like the other home, it too had a light that turned on and off, but this time the light was outside the front door. Some say it's a lighting glitch, but if that's the case, then surely it would have been fixed when the house was updated. Meanwhile, others say that the home was added as a Halloween update, but it was supposedly always there, ever since the East Coast map was added to the game. Most believe it's just a fun, creepy Easter egg, even though it kinda feels unfinished. In a player-made map called Atlanto, the map's creator, Arnock19, not only included the house, but also souped it up by adding spooky red lighting, blood textures, and billowing smoke. There's also sound effects of a creaking door, along with a laughing man and a screaming woman. If you like this video so far, be sure to subscribe, like, and click the bell icon for notifications. If you have any gaming myths, mysteries, oddities, or Easter eggs, be sure to let me know. Now back to the show. Since the early days of mankind, humans have tried to predict the future. From prophets and palm readers to psychics and groundhogs, humans have used all sorts of methods to try to see what the future holds. What will civilization look like in 1,000 years? Will there be a catastrophic natural disaster that wipes out mankind? Will there be a World War III? These are all questions of significant importance, but there's one question that's even more important. Who will win the next Super Bowl? For the past 20 years, people have attempted to predict the winner by using one particular method: EA Sports' Madden NFL games. Since 2004, it's been an annual tradition of using Madden to simulate Super Bowl matches. This year, EA Sports used their latest Madden game, Madden 24, to correctly predict that the Kansas City Chiefs would narrowly beat the San Francisco 49ers in Super Bowl 58. The official Madden Twitter account posted their results before the big game, and while Madden's final score was off, it wasn't off by much. Madden predicted that the Chiefs would win by 2 points. In real life, they won by 3. Madden was also pretty close when it came to players' performances. In real life, Travis Kelce, the Chiefs player dating Taylor Swift, got 9 catches for 93 yards. In the game, he got 7 catches for 91 yards. Meanwhile, the Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes landed 29 completions for 323 yards in Madden, while in real life, he landed 34 passes for 333 yards. Not only that, but Madden made another correct forecast, that Mahomes would become the most valuable player. For some, this is enough to not sleep on Madden when it comes to their Super Bowl predictions, but just how often does the game get it right? Out of 20 Super Bowl games including this year's, Madden got it right 12 times. So that means that the sports simulator has a 60% accuracy rate, which is pretty good. Furthermore, this year's Super Bowl win meant that Madden broke its losing streak when it got the results wrong for the last 3 Super Bowl games. On the flip side, the Madden games got the winners right for the first 4 years, from Super Bowl 38 to Super Bowl 41. This is partly perhaps why Madden's Super Bowl predictions started to gain traction. Out of all the predictions though, it was Madden 15's Super Bowl 49 results that utterly shocked everyone after the big game ended in real life. In Madden, the New England Patriots beat the Seattle Seahawks 28-24. Tom Brady passed the ball to Julian Edelman for the game-winning touchdown. The Patriots also came back from a 24-14 deficit, and Brady ended up becoming the MVP. In real life, all of that actually happened to a T. The final score, the game-winning pass, the deficit comeback. Madden got it exactly right. In fact, the game was so scarily accurate that there was a conspiracy theory that EA rigged the Super Bowl to promote Madden 15. If this was true, EA would have had to have bribed numerous officials and probably would have had to have paid an exorbitant amount of money just to promote an NFL game that comes out every year. The monetary cost would have probably exceeded Madden's marketing budget, which would be hard to justify. On top of that, EA already had the exclusive rights to make NFL games, meaning it had, and still has, no competitors to worry about. What's more, the fact that no one has come forward after all these years means this conspiracy is hogwash. As for how Madden games are so accurate or inaccurate, depending on how you look at it, recent Madden games have been utilizing AI more. This helps make the games more realistic, and since 2014, the NFL has inserted RFID tags into player shoulder pads and the football itself. This data is then integrated into Madden to more accurately nail down player skills and predict future performances. As accurate as Madden tries to be, however, it can't predict external factors, such as if Taylor Swift had any impact on Kelsey or the game. Dating sim games usually have multiple endings. There's the good ending, the okay ending, and bad ending. Sometimes there's a super bad ending, but in Dream Daddy, a dad dating simulator, there's a super bad crazy ending that's hidden in the game. In Dream Daddy, which was developed by Game Grumps, you play as a single dad who, along with your daughter Amanda, move into a peaceful seaside town called Maple Bay, where everyone is a single dad that you can date. There are many bachelors like the cool dad, fitness dad, teacher dad, and a bad boy dad named Robert Small, who's a cryptid hunter that likes knives and hates emotional intimacy. Previously, Robert dated another dad named Joseph Christensen, who's a cool youth minister that is now married to a woman named Emari. They both have children, but despite this, you can still date Joseph and have an affair with him. That's pretty bad in and of itself, but players discovered something even worse in the game's files. Shortly after Dream Daddy came out in July 2017, a Tumblr user named Alex data mined the game and unexpectedly discovered an unused secret ending titled Level 18. It was unplayable and not coded properly, but text dialogue in broken coding format was found. From what was legible, Joseph was apparently stealing money from the church and was part of a satanic cult that was killing everyone in town. What's more, Joseph tries to kill you. Word immediately spread about this bonkers ending, and soon the fandom started wondering why the heck this ending was even a thing. Some thought it was just an Easter egg to mess with players who data mine the game, while others speculated it was going to be part of a Halloween update or DLC. Meanwhile, most players just believed that the ending was scrapped due to how creepy and disturbing it was. A YouTuber named Hoodie Panda famously streamed the game for 9 hours as they attempted to unlock the ending through normal gameplay, but the attempt failed. One Steam user even ostensibly lied about unlocking the ending. They unlocked the achievement tied to the ending, called Escape from Margarita Zone, but it was suspicious due to the order in which they unlocked the other achievements, especially in such a short amount of time. Furthermore, not only was the Steam user oddly vague and cagey about how to unlock the ending, but from the looks of it, the information that they did provide was incorrect. It wouldn't be long until players were able to play the ending for themselves, albeit in an unofficial manner. The fandom managed to collaborate and produce a playable, unofficial version of the secret ending by ripping the ending's assets and putting them into a visual novel engine called Rentby. It was a fairly accurate recreation, but the game's developer would later release a director's cut of the game that included the official version of what they called the cult ending. When accessing the ending, an in-game message from the creators pops up that explains that the reason the devs created the cult ending was because they were big horror fans. However, they scrapped the ending for, quote, obvious reasons, but since fans were able to dig it up, the creators decided to do an official release. They noted that the ending was conceptually messy and non-canonical. In order to play the cult ending, you had to create a character with very specific characteristics. You also had to name yourself Jimmy Buffett, which is a reference to the real-life Jimmy Buffett musician. After naming your character, creepy audio plays, followed by pop-up messages regarding the ending. The cult ending seemed to pick up right after you and Joseph had a romantic time on his yacht during normal gameplay. Typically after this event, you would just step off his yacht, return home, and continue on with your life. But in the cult ending, you wake up in a dungeon all tied up. Joseph, who looks more ominous and wears uncharacteristic clerical garb, reveals that the dungeon that they're in is located underneath the town's cul-de-sac where the dad's houses are. He refers to it as the real Margarita Zone. In a previous date with Joseph, he brings you into his office that he redecorated as a paradise to relax. He called it the Margarita Zone, which is a reference to Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville song. Joseph goes on to explain that Maple Bay Town has a mystical power that feeds on anguish and requires sacrifice. He then drops a bombshell. He's been systematically murdering all of the dad's spouses in town, and that's the reason why every dad is single and eligible. This has been going on for generations, as the goal is to harvest the souls of every dad in order to bring the Eternal King back to life. In the dark depths of the sea lies something that has been waiting to return for 100 million years. Joseph says that it showed him the path, just like it did with his ancestor Jonah. In the Bible, Jonah is a figure who ignored God's task, and so he tried hiding from God in the sea, only to get swallowed by a giant sea creature that God sent. After praying and repenting inside the creature for days, God gave him a second chance and had the sea creature throw him up on land. The creature is theorized to be a giant whale or Cthulhu. Delving deeper, things get even weirder when you realize that Joseph has telepathy and can read your mind. He also reveals that his kids aren't actually his kids and are instead vessels. What's more, during the second date with Robert, Robert tells you a scary story about seeing the Dover ghost, and afterwards, both of you witness a dark figure in the woods dragging something. Well, it turns out that Joseph was the Dover ghost and was most likely the one in the woods dragging a body. What's more, Robert previously warned you not to trust Joseph and that he's not who you think he is. He tells you that Joseph will stab you in the back after giving you a pocket knife as a gift. Back in the dungeon, Joseph tells you that this is all just a dream daddy before leaving. Then suddenly, Mary comes in and helps you escape since she doesn't want you to end up like the other victims. This implies that she knew what was going on the entire time. You end up running down an unnaturally long and bizarre hallway that leads to a door. When you open it, you're suddenly back in your house where your daughter Amanda greets and hugs you. Everything seems normal, but when you sense that something is off, you ask Amanda when her birthday is. Unable to answer correctly, Amanda then transforms into a demon with black eyes.
Ugh.
Suddenly, you're back in the dungeon with Joseph. He says that he doesn't know how you escaped, and starts talking to you some more. Eventually he mentions Robert, and it's at this point you remember Robert's knife that you kept in your pocket. So you take it out and try to stab Joseph, but he knocks the knife out of your hand. Joseph then chokes you as he smiles, but suddenly, Mary appears again and stabs Joseph in the shoulder with a knife. She says he stole so much of her life and that it's over. At this point, Joseph and Mary's children walk in with demonic black eyes, as if they're black-eyed children. They say they're hungry, and then corner Joseph, implying they're going to eat him. Joseph then shouts, "This body is but a conduit, Mary. I'll see you in your nightmares." You then pass out, but before you do, you see a stranger in front of you. You then wake up in your house, where your real daughter hugs you and explains that the yacht that you and Joseph were on sank. Rescue crews managed to save you, and in the process, documents were found in the yacht wreckage that show that Joseph was embezzling funds from the church. A detective named Saul Graves, who is the stranger that you saw in the dungeon, then enters the room. He's with Mary, who says that Joseph ran away once the feds showed up. She says that she didn't know that Joseph was stealing money, and that she now has to take care of her kids all by herself now. The detective then says that what they both saw down there probably can't be forgotten, and that he's going to get to the bottom of it. He then shares that he lost his wife under mysterious circumstances, and that Maple Bay has strange and mysterious forces at work. Before leaving, he tells you to get some rest, and to give him a call if you're not doing anything later, implying he's interested in dating you. Even though this ending is non-canonical, it carries more weight than expected, since it actually fills in some gaps, and contextualizes some of the things that happen in the game. For instance, there's a symbol in the dungeon that can also be seen in Joseph's house. It's unknown what the symbol represents. Perhaps it's the devil's eye, or it could be the town's cul-de-sac. Robert, who happens to be into the paranormal, even has a tattoo of the symbol on his hand, and when you ask him about it, he coldly tells you it's a reminder. Is it possible that Robert was one of Joseph's victims? That would explain why Robert eminently doesn't trust Joseph. It may also explain the true purpose of the knife that Robert gives you. One of the game's tips, tip number 18, even says to always carry a pocket knife, which is used in the cult ending. There are also more hints that foreshadow Joseph's true nature. At one point, Joseph is reading a book about tying knots, but acts weird about it. He claims it's for tying knots for sailboats, but he ends up tying you up in the cult ending. Joseph also seems to be in his element when he's out at sea, the same place where a creature has been lurking for 100 million years. Some players think it's a whale, which your character happens to be scared of. Joseph's kids are even weird and creepy. When you meet them for the first time, Joseph's son Chris is standoffish, while Joseph's twins, Christian and Christy, have a strange penchant for cutting open toys and dolls. And then there's Lucien Bloodmarch, who's the son of a dateable goth dad named Damien. Joseph notices that Lucien has a 666 tattoo, which prompts Joseph to say that it carries weight. When you add up the 3 sixes, you get 18, and that happens to match the number of the cult endings file, level 18. It's almost as if the game was built around the cult ending. However, it's messy and over the top, and there are some things that don't make sense. One of the big questions that players have about the ending is whether or not it was real or just a dream. Perhaps it's a giant metaphor of your relationship with Joseph. Even though the ending is not canon, it's been purported that the game's developer continually updated the code of the ending to make it more functional, despite the ending being inaccessible to the public. Moreover, even after the game was patched, the Escape from Margarita Zone achievement was still left in the game. So if players couldn't play the cult ending to unlock the achievement, why leave the achievement in the game? It's also surprising that the cult ending would be removed, considering how much work was done for it. There are assets that were made exclusively for the ending, like the dialogue, dungeon music, and detective graves. Of course, there's also the character sprites of Emari holding a bloody knife. It almost feels like the game's developer was hoping that the fandom would find the cult ending so they could have an excuse to officially add it to the game. Even though people understand that the ending isn't canon, some players said that it ruined the entire game for them since it was the antithesis of the lighthearted, inclusive nature of Dream Daddy. Some even accused the game of being homophobic or biphobic, since it paints religious queer men as predatory. On the flip side though, some fans thought it was awesome that they actually made the ending, since it's so bonkers. Thanks to Dr. Dirk on my Discord for the tip about the cult ending. Around the world, players have encountered things in their games that range from creepy to comical. Here are some of those encounters. She's infected.
They're getting closer.
Let's see you get through that. What's up? On the edge of your seat.
Close your eyes.
What's the holdup? Get that thing moving.
How's it going?
How's it going, BD?
When you're feeling antsy, as you wish,
Give me my warrior's death. Now! We should go.
shattering your expectations. Big catch.
Onward! Rowers! Go! More speed!
Jason Bourne. No scope. Draw me like one of your French girls. How to bowl.
Nice car.
Wait for it. Sleeping with the fishes.
Hello, laddie.
Dangerous spot to catch a fish.
Nay, dangerous fish to catch him. Sport.
Sure.
Aye, that one slipped the line, but
Pardon.
Feeling lightheaded. Use the force. Catch. Hurry this way. .200 IQ.
Watch out! Here can move.
Previously on Twitch.
These people are completely fine. They are just enjoying a new exciting video game. Video games have been scientifically proven to improve problem solving and motor skills, spatial awareness, social skills, and stress control. Although it takes just 10 seconds.
Yeah, so this is a chill stream.